Today's tutorial informational session involves Pigeon Pose. Everyone who's ever done Pigeon Pose can probably agree it's an incredibly valuable pose to help release tight abductors, outer glutes, and the piriformis muscle. Most of us have tight hips simply from being human, walking, sitting, and general movements that cause tightness in and around the hips. The gluteus maximus are the largest muscle groups of the human body. When they get tight, they hugely impact the lower back. Things like squats and bridges and spinning or cycling and deadlifts all contribute to tight glutes and the potential for lower back pain. That's why we have movements like Pigeon Pose. Pigeon Pose feels great, and by the time we arrive at it in our practice, we are usually excited to dive right in. But there are some important considerations worth noting to help guide you safely into the pose. As someone who comes from a background of knee injury, an ACL reconstruction, and several meniscus repairs prior to starting a yoga practice, I place great emphasis on the safety and the protection of the knee joint. As you can see, Pigeon Pose isn't a pose typically seen at the beginning of a yoga class. You warm up the whole body, lubricate the knee and hip joints, all in preparation to safely move into the pose. It also makes perfect sequential sense to offer Pigeon towards the end of class, to balance out the strength work around the hips and relieve the ensuing pressure on the lower back, the sciatic nerve, and maintain pelvic sacrum alignment. The angle of your front leg is critical to your knee safety. Please be sure to establish a safe approximately 45-degree angle from the shin bone to the top edge of your yoga mat. Looking behind you, try to be sure your hip, knee, and ankle are all in one straight line from hip to foot, with the top of your back foot on the mat. It's important to make sure your two hips are squared down to ensure a neutral, balanced sacrum before moving further into the pose. To really reap the rewards and obtain the full release in the hips and the glutes, try to stay in the pose anywhere from 5 to 10 breaths or several minutes. As you exit the pose, press your hands firmly into your mat to boost yourself up. Tuck your back toes, engage your abdomen, and carefully move your front leg back to down dog or tabletop position. Move your hips or pedal out the legs to allow the oxygenated blood to circulate back to the hip and surrounding area. And then, of course, as always, repeat the movement on the other side.